So this is okay. Okay, so I have these slides. It seems to be 7 slides, but I would cover everything. I'll go quickly uh, because, as I said, it is for who are all new to DevOps and Portworx. Well, I'll try to introduce a problem here. Anyway, thanks for joining, everyone. Let me see who are all here quickly again. Okay. Please. Okay, extra. Okay, so little basics about DevOps, as this will be seen by many who does not know DevOps and who are all new to DevOps. So this is for them. So we have seen that the previous generation of development, the waterfall model, where there was a business team, there is an engineering team and operation team. So what is the problem with that? So when business team takes a project and they have a something they are to achieve, they have a concept, they want to put that into development, and finally they want to put that to operation. By the time they get the output from inception of the project to delivery, that it was taking too long, possibly sometimes 1 year, more than 1 year, maybe 2 years, if it is a huge project. So by the time it was conceptualized, by the time we get the product, sometimes it does not seems to have value because the things have changed. So that's one problem. Second problem is the feedback. Getting the feedback from the end users was taking a long time. So all these things making not much sense in today's world. So that was the problem. So what are the fix to that? So they found agile methodology to one solution to that problem. So how we can deliver software faster with agile methodology. So we all know that it is very test-driven development methodology with all very solid engineering principles. So it is supposed to give us delivery of software very frequently and faster, right? That was the main intention of agile. But there we don't take requirements, so we write storage. So, but what is the reaction to this methodology from business? Though it is from engineering, mostly they follow this, but what is the response from the engineering and what is the response from the operation team? So I have seen also in my career, when we used to have agile methodology, the business users or business executives, they used to attend our meetings too. So, and every 15 days, there will be a Scrum review meetings, and they used to attend also, and they used to give their inputs. So they found that it is pretty intensive for them. Regularly attending meetings and giving inputs, it is pretty intensive for them. And what is the operation thinks about it also? So operation thinks when every 15 days, the sprint cycle, they have to put new software, new features adding to already established and which is already stable environment. It is hard for them to implement that also, because we all know that operation is measured through the stability of the production environment. So they don't want to change that what is already stable every 15 days. So that is another thing. It is a lot of work for them too. So they business and operation, they used to oppose somewhat this agile methodology to be adopted because it's simple more work for them. So you see this one which I highlighted. Engineering is measured through the throughput and operation is measured through the stability. So engineering wants to push more cycles into the code release or product release, and operation, they oppose that and they want to make their stability. This is a inherent conflict between the delivery from engineering to operation. And to solve this problem, DevOps was actually created so that it resolves the conflict and it gives us what we all have the same goal. So it gives the goal of achieving the software, successful software as a product or as a service or whatever. So I'll give what is DevOps, some full definition I found by Humble. He was one of the prominent DevOps guy. It's a cross-functional community of practice dedicated to study of building, evolving, and operating rapidly changing, secure, resilient system at scale. So with that, I'll just introduce the DevOps lifecycle. And I'm adding another here called DevSecOps. So, well, we all know planning, coding, building, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. This is the DevOps lifecycle. But when security is added to all the steps here, all the different section of this lifecycle, we need to add security from the day one so that the whole software is highly secured. During planning phase, we want to add security. During coding, also we want to add security. Building, testing, release, deploy, every phase of the DevOps lifecycle, we want to add security. So that's what we called DevSecOps today. Then what we are doing here, I'm going a little faster. So this is my vision of Portworx. This is purely mine. Like I have envisioned how Portworx can be implemented in a DevOps environment. So because I found one of the customer asked me long back when we started, they said that how Portworx can be integrated with our DevOps cycle or pipeline. So I gave some answers to that, but today that's what my vision is for any enterprise, or I have seen also big enterprises who are having multi-cloud environment. And in fact, I was seeing one of the JOs sent yesterday one in our Slack channel. Everybody is moving towards multi-cloud environment. I have seen also, I have worked in my career. In fact, before joining Portworx, I was working this, and we had a multi-cloud environment. In fact, we had all the four: vSphere, AWS, Azure, Google. So with that, I want to explain here a little bit what is this pipeline R and what I mean by this. So you see here, there are three pipelines here. Just for reference, I have taken three pipelines. One is for the infrastructure. Second one is for the Portworx. And the third one, the top one, is for applications. So the bottom one is how we can automate infrastructure as code in a pipeline. So that can be achieved by Terraform or Ansible. So here in the left side, customer has their own private network, and this is like it has their own private network. So they maintain the CVEs, which takes care of the OS and product updates and all the security aspects of these operating system and product features. So they maintain the versions in the CVEs, and so they have clients automation framework. This is beyond our control. Obviously, my vision is they have their own framework, which they can manage and monitor their Linux or Windows environments, and they can also create the containers, which they can harden their containers, and they can maintain using some registry servers. And another, the security aspect of is we can have three ways of achieving that security of the infrastructure: repair, repave, and rotate. So what is repair? Like any new patch comes repairing security features, or something breaks, in the OS or our application, that is done through the CVEs. And what is repave? Repave is something where we destroy the infrastructure and recreate it. Obviously, over a period of time, when we configure the infrastructure, sometimes employee joins and they move out. So they already know the configurations. So over a period of time, it becomes sometimes known to everybody what is the configuration. So what we want to do is we want to destroy the whole environment and recreate it with new configurations, but without any downtime, possibly or less downtime. So that's a repave, and a rotate is a rotating of the key pairs, rotating certificates, rotating passwords. That is done through obviously different cloud vendors. They have their AWS has KMS, Azure has got Azure Vault, Google has Google KMS also. So that is also achieved through different security vendors. Well, that's the pipeline, which is not our play. That's done completely by the end client or customer. Then it comes to us. So when we install Portworx, how that can be integrated to their environment. Obviously, we play in the Kubernetes world. So I have given here, like in a multi-cloud environment, they can have OpenShift, Rancher, AKS, EKS. So in that, by the way, but the bottom pipeline can be handled by Jenkins or any other CI/CD tool. So same thing, we have a left side, we have a Git repo, and so that will be controlling the pipeline and the Jenkins pipeline here. So we can install Portworx, we can manage Portworx, we can create volumes, we can, even if migrations, everything can be done through the Git, from the Git repo, and it can be done through the Jenkins also. So there where we can play. And second, the third one is the application pipeline. When developers operate this particular pipeline here, top one, so this is the application where they request in their application the volumes, PVCs from Portworx. So they can actually integrate our pipelines or our, in fact, some constructs using PXCTL or StockCTL. They can integrate these pipeline features into their pipeline for development, and they can use it too. So, and they can ultimately, here right side, if you see, this can be also integrated into open service broker API, which in turn can communicate to any public cloud services too. So combinedly, everything here, what I say, we can achieve the complete automation of infrastructure, platform, storage, application, everything through Jenkins pipeline. So that's possible. So that is my that's what I envision. But this, instead of Jenkins, we can put anything, any other CI/CD pipeline too. So that's my vision. With that, I created a tool or automation framework myself. So that's what I'm going to demo today. So any questions before I move to the demo?
None here.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So I'll go to my GitHub. So this is. So this is the.
What percentage of Kubernetes users use Jenkins to do this? Is that the standard?
Well, I have seen, okay, Jenkins user, they don't use Jenkins mostly, but developers use Jenkins, mostly the Java developers. But I have seen, I was working used, in fact, managing their infrastructure. Jenkins was managing their infrastructure. So when we used to ask for a Kubernetes cluster, they used to we used to go to Jenkins and just click a particular pipeline that will ultimately create a Kubernetes cluster also.
And would there ever be a situation where like people would use ServiceNow to order IT infrastructure and then it would kick off a Jenkins pipeline?
Yes, in
Is
fact, that
is that a com?
yes,
Is
it is.
that would that common?
Yes, it is common. So we integrate here. When I said I should here before when to access, in fact, to this pipeline, they go to ServiceNow, and from ServiceNow they request for accessing the pipeline, and once that has been given access, then they have the access to the pipeline.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Cool.
Okay, so this is public repository, and anybody can use it. So this is mostly I thought of creating as a POC for Jenkins. I'm sorry, Portworx POC. So this, sorry. So and this can be utilized for our POC too. So what I'll do is I'll go and start here. I'll just do a clone of this environment. So anybody can do that. So I just cloned my GitHub repository, and I can see it is Portworx POC. So before that, because I have already one, so I'll rename it. Okay, so I just did it, and now I'll just, before using it, I have to, because it is for me. So who does that? What they have to do is they have to change some parameters. That is called variables for their own environment, because every individual user will be different. So here I have a Jenkins, PX Jenkins, and here I have to go to the variable and I have to change it according to your name. You can give here, I'll give here my name, EN. There are 4 things I have to change. The key name, because your key will be different than mine. So this is also VPC name has to be different. And I have to have a role. I have defined a role. This role has to be different, rather unique. And this also, the instance profile has to be unique. So this 4 has to be changed, only 4, no others. If you want to change any other thing also, you can change. But this tool expects that you need to change your key name, your VPC name, your role name, and your instance profile name. So that's it. So I save it. And now here, that's it. So I just to show you, I'll not go through the details because it will take a long time. I have already done that, but just to show exactly what I have to do is go to PX Jenkins and do a TF Terraform. It is, by the way, it is a Terraform. I'm using Terraform. So TF init, do a first one is TF init. Terraform should be installed before executing this. That is a different thing. To install Terraform, it does not take much time. So TF plan is the next command just to see what it is going to create. So this tool requires little Terraform knowledge. It's not too much required, but it's some basic Terraform knowledge is required. So TF apply is the command. Terraform applies the command to install the tool. So that's it. TF apply. If I do it, it is going to create the whole tool in one command. So my Jenkins environment and the POC environment is completely created. It will take 6 minutes around, I have seen. it will, in fact, create the Jenkins. It will install Jenkins. It will install all the Jenkins requirements. It will install all the Jenkins plugins. It will install all the pipelines required for the POC. And that I have done it, let it go, but I'll just jump into the demo, which I have already created one. So by the time it is finished, we'll get this one directly. No other configuration required. So we'll directly get this. So with all these pipelines created. So when I say Jenkins pipeline, pipelines are nothing but a set of jobs in series. So I'll just show you exactly how it will be. So I'll just log out. It will ask to log in first time when you log in, and admin and password is the default password, and you'll directly come here. So now from here, I'm going to show you I'll not do it because I have already done it. It takes around 20 minutes to create a Kubernetes cluster, 15 to 20 minutes, which I'll not do it here. For that, I have already done. So this is, you see the first one. I have defined these pipelines as day 1, day 2, and day 3 operations. Normally, how we do it. In a customer environment, just to show the customer that, hey, in the day 1, what do? You create your infrastructure. I'll just map my presentation to here. So this is the pipeline where I create the infrastructure. The same thing what I'm doing is, same thing I'm doing here. Day 1, I'm deploying, actually creating the infrastructure, EKS cluster. So this is I'm deploying. So if you go here, and I have, you'll see here build with parameters. So you see here action requesting is deploy EKS cluster, destroy EKS cluster. So I can create a EKS cluster in my, okay, one thing I will need is your AWS credential, and that you have to create before using it. And how you can do it, managing Jenkins, and go to credentials here, and you can create it here by clicking global and here add credential. This is what I expect, because obviously you will have your own AWS security details like username, password, all those stuffs. So I expect that you have you create your AWS, you give your AWS credential to Jenkins so that it can use it. Well, after that, we come here and build with parameters, and I create deploy EKS cluster. And this is what I have to use. I have to give my AWS credential, which I just created, the name of that. We don't need to give anything else. And after that, it will take all the AWS secrets and use it. Then what's the cluster name? What is the node group name? And which region, AWS region you want to create. So that will create. I have already created, because this will take it around 20 minutes. Once you click build, it will start creating. I have already created this. I just want to show it here, what it did. So you go to console output, you see that it is a success, and it has created here actually. You see here, it has created my EKS cluster in AWS. So here directly, you don't have to go anywhere else after doing this. Everything, the complete EKS cluster installation can be done here. Now, I have given here, if you want to get your kubeconfig file, you can do it here. You can execute any kubectl command, you can execute here. This is just for reference, but this is what is of our interest. Deploy and destroy Portworx cluster. So here, I'll just show this live demo. I have not installed it. I'm going to do it now. So this is a fresh cluster. I have nothing is there. I have created the EKS cluster because that takes time. I have created it. Now, day 1, obviously, I want to, after creation of my infrastructure, I'll go to the second pipeline here, which in my presentation. So now I'm creating this pipeline, creating the Portworx and installation and the operation. So that's what I'm going to show it here. Build with parameter. So here, action requesting deploy Portworx cluster and destroy. So both options I have given. You can deploy it, and you can, after you finish your POC, you can destroy it too. So I'll go with a deploy Portworx cluster, and I want to give it my ASM AWS credentials and cluster name, the Kubernetes cluster name, the region name, and which namespace I'm going to create. So, this is my environment because I have created it. But if when you are doing actual POC at the customer site, or you want to use it for your own purpose also, what you do is, when you downloaded this, you will have your own Portworx specification, right? So that you have to edit it here. So there is a script here, and you have to edit Portworx, and you have to give, I have given here EKS PX cluster specification. So this is my specification, and I did that from central.portworx.com. So when we go to central.portworx.com to create the specification, just the same one. So when we create this, the specification, I download it and I put it exactly here. I updated this. Then, or if you don't want to do it here and you want to give into a public location where but I need that URL here because I cannot access that any other way. So if you see here, my Jenkins installation expects that specification here, so that this should be publicly accessible. So in my case here, if you go, I'll go here. In my case, this is what my Portworx specification looks like. So this is what the Portworx specification, and I will go to raw here and I'll just copy this one. This is my link. So I'll just copy this and put it here. This is what I expect. So that,
Ansh,
yeah.
Will that accept the output URL from Central?
I think it should be, as long as it's publicly available.
Well, it is.
Yeah, so it should be directly also given here. It can be given. But for this demo, I'm taking it from my repository. Or this can be, that's why this is a variable. This can be removed and put into different things also. Okay, so I'm taking this as my specification, and I'll just Portworx cluster and I'll start build. So this is, I'll go to console output to show that it is what is doing it. And there is another way of seeing it here also. If you see here, this is a new one, open blue ocean here. So here you see here, I have the option, deploy Portworx storage cluster and destroy it. So I'm taking this path here to install it. And I can go to the output. Okay, so my Portworx is installed. You see here, it will take some time to all the parts to come up, but it's installed. So if I want to check, I have a pipeline. That's the reason I have given this pipeline here. You can execute any Kubernetes cluster. You can use, basically, you can execute a kubectl command. So here I will execute -n Portworx, yes. So just to check this, I have given this so that anybody can use it. This is, I think, I have created in one and build. So I can check the output here. Still, so I can execute any Kubernetes command from Jenkins. So it's still taking time to come up. We'll wait a little bit, but I'll go back. We see that my Terraform previously, which I executed, this is done. The one which new one I created, right? So that's done. So it's here. Okay, so both are done here. And you can get your, I'm tagging the new one, what I just created. So that one will be the new one which I created, Ian Jenkins. This one is the new one I created. And this is the old one which I'm showing the demo. PN, because you see that I changed I added a PN to the new one. So you can take the IP. I'm going a little bit back because it took time to create it. So this is the new Jenkins one. So port is always 8080. So this is the new one that I just created. Admin and password. So this is the first time it will ask you to, it will give you options to install some of the plugins. This is the first one. So I accepted it. And that's it. So this is, you see, this is the fresh one which I just created. There is no pipeline executed here. No EKS clusters available. So that's all. I just wanted to show that. I'll go back to my old one. Okay, so we'll see if it is up again on the clusters. Yeah, so all the pods are up and running. So Portworx is successfully installed. Now I'm going to quickly, so just lack of time, I want to show directly. I have given here to, in fact, you see here, I have given just create storage class to create volumes, but I'll just show directly creating a pet clinic application here. So this is the pipeline looks like. It is better visualized here. So this is the pet clinic pipeline, how it looks like. You see here, first I'm creating, I'll increase this. Creating the storage class, creating the PVC, create the MySQL database, and then deploy the pet clinic application, and that's it. So same thing, same pipeline can be used also to delete it. So I'll just go and execute it. So I'll just same thing, deploy pet clinic app in the same credential I'll give region. This is one, and namespace I had to create is pet clinic. So build it. So you can see how it is here. We can see it, or we can also go to Blue Ocean to see where it is going. So here you see that these are the path through. So it created the namespace, created the storage class, created the PVC, created MySQL database, and it took this path here, deploy pet clinic app, and it is all these things also visible here, all the logs. So it is successfully deployed pet clinic application. It is showing it's not up, all the pods are not up, but we can get it. So similar way, we can get all the details. I'll execute same thing. This will be using pet clinic. I'll see both services and okay, still it's not up, but I can take this one is my pet clinic application URL. I can put it here. It will not be up now, though, because the service are still not up. Pods are not off. I'll just okay. So now it is up. So yeah, my Spring Boot application is also up. So this is my pet clinic application running. So this is what, if I want to map my pipeline here, this is the application pipeline, which the pet clinic application is created by the application developers. So this pipeline I just executed, and I executed the PX Portworx pipeline. I executed this the Terraform pipeline, and also the Kubernetes pipeline. So the 3 pipelines I just demonstrated, and I didn't use any command line interface other than just creating Terraform. First, obviously, I have to create some automation. That's TF apply, Terraform apply. That's it. So, and I have also given here to install PX backup. So this is, I can show it right now. So like, but before executing that, any question? You went a little faster here, but
Do you think that like I can see that like let's take an average enterprise company, right? I mean, how many clusters would they deploy? So it's like, do they really need to develop a process to automate the creation of the cluster? Versus, would this be more used to automate the maintenance of that cluster? Because like wouldn't it be more where people would automate volume attaching to to CPU than actually creation of a cluster?
so, okay, good question. So both are important. So people in a typical enterprises, we have seen more than 300, 400 Kubernetes clusters. So they do have, in fact, a pipeline to do that.
Yeah, that's significant.
Yeah, and then you are right. How just you see here, because I showed this pet clinic application. Actually, this is what developer requested a volume internally. I want to show you, if I go to configure here, this pipeline is, you see, okay, I'll rather show here. The pipeline mode. I'll go to pet clinic pipeline, and I'll go to the Blue Ocean view. So here, if you see the pipeline, how it looks like, the developer asking a storage class, and the developer are asking a PVC. This is a persistent volume claim. This is the storage requirement for the application. But they are no more asking a storage architect or storage admin to provision a storage to them. So they are self-serviced. So that is the value add what Portworx actually brings.
Right.
Um, Self-service for the developers to get the storage which they need at the time of development without waiting for the storage admin to provision a storage to them.
Which they don't want to do. They want self-service.
Yeah, mostly we are moving toward that. Still, there are traditional companies who they want to control centralized way. Obviously, they have to adopt someday. But today, in a cloud native world, everybody or developers want to be self-service. So
Right.
this is the right way to do it. That's what I believe. So this demonstrates the self-service storage delivery to developers for their. So I am creating a MySQL database here and giving that to developers to use it.
Right.
Yeah, and I have also given operation. Now Portworx operation, rightly you pointed it out. So now I have given another just to show you one feature here. Here, get the storage cluster status. So this can be utilized in any way. We can modify this pipeline just to show the demo I just given this, but all the operation related to storage can be done with this pipeline. So when I execute this, check Portworx cluster status. So this is simple executing. Obviously, in the backend, it is executed commands, but this is simple one click. It can give me what is my storage cluster details.
And would it be common if you were allocating storage through a pipeline that you would also incorporate into the pipeline the data protect strategy and the replication, if it's going to be replicated or not?
Yes, everything can be, all the operation features. This is just a demo. I got the status, but we can create the replication. But okay, replications are managed by storage class for Portworx. So here, when in my pipeline,
Right, you're just picking the storage class, but you have already created that storage class that has the appropriate data protection. So just by picking the storage class, it already incorporates that data protection, right?
yeah, so okay, in this pipeline, I'm creating the storage class, but storage class cannot be just, that is always defined by the enterprise or maybe the central team, infrastructure team. So that storage class, I can actually remove this so that you will be given a storage class to be used, so that can be done. But here in this pipeline, I'm creating a storage class and I'm deleting that also.
Got it.
So this is so I am giving here creation, operation, and also later the day 3 activities like
Day
taking
3. Got it. Yeah.
PX backup. So let me execute this and deploy PX backup. And here I'm using PX backup namespace, and in the one here and GP2, if I say build, so this will completely deploy PX backup in my cluster. So with that's it. I don't have to show all others. This is almost giving everything what I had. But obviously it is still a lot of things need to be changed, and a lot of things which is if people if our engineers they request new features, new pipeline, new use cases, I can implement it. But this is just a starting. That concludes this demo. Any questions? Definitely, I'll be more than happy to take.
No, this is really cool stuff. I mean, I've never actually seen like pipelines be built and executed. So for me, like, I talk about it, I understand it, but to see it is something that, I have never seen. So it really helps me better kind of visualize it and understand Jenkins a lot more.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, Panch, I think this is really good. I think this is, that it's a really good, sort of demonstration of, art of the possible, right? For a customer that is asking for, what might this look like if I tried to integrate it into a CI/CD pipeline? How do I move away from, CLI, right? I don't have people that can do CLI, things like that, right? This is a really, really great, sort of visualization and demo of that. I think it's important to remember that, right? This is, any solution is going to be delivered, on a per customer basis, right? They're going to have to tool it themselves and, or tool it with their toolkit. And right, deliver through, this is something that's getting delivered through professional services, right? In the end. But yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, this is for internal use for us to use at this point. If a customer want to change it their own way, they definitely welcome to do. But this is not something they want to do, or they because it obviously, as you said rightly, it for customer, they may not have this use case. They may have some other use case. They can change, of course. It is open source, but it will be a starting just to show that demo somewhere. I think I have missed previously. Some customer asked how it is CI/CD pipeline integration. Now I think I can show it. I just you joined. Thanks. I just actually discussed about the repave you asked for. This is what I want to show that if you.
I joined some time ago, but I will go through the recording to see the pay repave options.
So here, this is what is the pipeline infrastructure pipeline, repair, repave, and rotate. This is normally not repave, but all the 3 R, we call it 3 Rs to be completely securing the infrastructure. So 3 pipelines. Yeah, okay. You can see the recording. Sorry, maybe we can have one-on-one too.
Yeah, please do send the recording.